Hello, good morning. I'd like to show you my garden, and today is May 19, 2020, and we are just going to take a look at it. And I have a lot of weed. The greens that you are seeing is garlic mustard, and I have been harvesting them, wash, chops, and put in my freezer for winter. I use it. Right now we have been eating it in salad, and I cook with it as well. So they are trying to set seed. So that's why I will harvest them as much as possible so that they don't reseed. They make a lot of seed. And right here we have gummy tree, and it is flowering as well. I will talk about that tree another time. But that's a nitrogen fixer. And I have it here on the north side of the garden. I have strawberries, alpine strawberries, flowering here as well. And that's that, close to the garlic mustard. But that's the plant with 3 leaves on the stem, with a flower with white, yellow in the middle, white flower with yellow in the middle. They make small berries, sweet but very small. And the yellow flower is not flower, but that's it could be rutabaga, but it's most likely they are pretty much in the same family. I'm trying to remember the name. I will remember the name later and I will say it. But you can eat the roots or you can eat the leaves. You can plant it for the leaves, or there are some that the roots can be big. I don't know how, I don't remember anymore. But yeah, well, it's close to rutabaga, and I think rutabaga must have come out of that. And here you can see I have my strawberries here. They are flowering, and that's a part of the grass that I turned into the garden 2 years ago, this part here. And I wanted to have berry patch so that we don't need to go to pick your own farm to buy the berries there for $2 a pint or something like that, or a pound. And I just mulch. I mowed early in the spring. I got free mulch from the city, wood chips, and I just dump it here. And we purchased the crown online from burnridge.com. No, I think Burnridge Nursery. And I planted here with my husband and the kids. So we have them here and they are flowering. Last year was the first year they produced a lot for us. So they are here, and I have fence within fence so that deer don't jump in our garden. So we have a lot of plants, we have a lot of flower, and this is a flower I believe is in the lily family. If it's not lily itself, it does a long yellow flower like a trumpet on top. and they were in the garden before they were here before we came, because there is a part of the yard that was a garden when we came, and I had to decrease a lot of flowers. I mean, move them to the front to have space for my plants. So there is a lot of flower here. Some are wild, and I don't know their name. So this one is a flower too. I think I know the name, but I don't remember anymore. That does a yellow flower, a yellow or white? I think white with some yellow. Yeah, I know the name, but I don't remember that either. But that's a beautiful flower. And in fact, next to that, we have another flower here too. But there is a lot of flowers here. I don't know their name, and there is a lot of wild flowers. And as we continue, we can see some purple flowers. I don't know the name, but I believe that's a wild flower. And I have a lot of them in the garden. And as you can see, the yard, I mulched the garden last fall with 4 leaves. So you can see the leaves in the garden, and it's been raining a lot. So that will just hold the water in the ground for me, and I won't need to water my garden. So we still have that flower. That plants. Let me zoom in to see if you'll be able to see the leaves. I don't know why. Turnips, greens. Let's see how close we can get. And I harvest 1 gallon of greens from the plants right after it starts flowering, because when it starts flowering, the greens will turn small. And that's a biennial. They came from last year plants. The plant last year came back to set seed. And we might probably go inside the garden. Yeah, I think we might go in. But right now, let's just do the tour. And you can see here I have I'm trying to remember the name. But yes, asparagus. I have harvested maybe 1 or 2 spare here for salad, and that's pretty much it. I'm letting that one grow to feed the root. And that's the plant from last year, and they set seeds. And I think I will have 1 elsewhere as well. So we have fruit trees, and that one is a fruit tree. And I don't know what I have. Yeah, the tag is somewhere inside. But you can see another flower there as well, flowering. And I don't know the name of it. It was here before we came. Times to times I'll chop it down so it doesn't take over. But we do have a lot of flowers. And when they flower, they can look very beautiful in the garden. And having fruit trees It's good to have those flowers to have bees. And even the creeping Charlie looks pretty with purple flower. And by the way, I eat them. So my way of fighting weeds is just to eat them because most of them are edible. So when a weed is edible, I don't try to fight them by trying to weed them out. That's a lost battle for me because I don't like to weed. So I just eat them. And I have not harvested for to freeze yet. Don't know if I'll do that because that's a lot of work. But I like to harvest some to chop and put in my salad. So you can eat it raw, you can cook it as well. Oh, and I like to mulch my garden as well with it. And that's another fruit tree here. And in fact, those two are here because they can pollinate each other, but they are stone fruit, so they are self-pollinated plants or trees. And I believe they are peach or apricot because I have both. And that's our raspberry patch here. And I let the branches from last year, the cane from last year, so they are going to fruit this year, early this season, before I'll chop them down, and the new growth will produce berries in fall as well. So I harvest berries twice. So we have them here. We have the rhubarb here. I have my grapes. This one has not come back. They'll come back from the ground, but I have one here that is, and that's the grape there, grape tree, and that's this brand, that's this name, Emerald Seamless, and that's from Starborough. And that's the first time it's coming back. A lot of times they die back to the ground, so they are not producing grapes, but I believe that one will produce grape. The only grape that is doing well here for me is Concord grape. The cane will stay and produce, but we have many grapes and they are dying back to the ground because probably our winter is a little bit harsh for them. Even though they say it was hardy to zone 5, they don't seem to be hardy here for this. So I have plum that bunny is destroyed. So I have another one, Italian plum, in the front yard. So that one is doing well. I forgot the name of that herb there, but I use it. It's medicinal, and I mulch with it as well. So we have this one here. That's a fruit tree. Probably I might see the tag somewhere. I forgot the name, but that's a fruit tree. Produced fruit last year. No, last year, maybe 2 years ago, and then bunny destroyed last year. Melda. And we have our flowers here. And we have this patch here where there is a lot of flowers and a lot of garlic mustard with parsnip between them. And that's parsnip that I plant as an alternative to carrot. And I have them in the garden, they just self-sow. And that's rhubarb here. That's parsnip there, I have a lot of them. And that's my wildflower here. Very beautiful. And I'm trying to remember the name of this plant. It starts producing flower already. I'm not sure it produced flower last year. I need to do a video especially for that, but that's horseradish. Here I have persimmon tree, and it just start waking up. The tag is on the other side, and as we move, I have purple tree here. Maybe I'll see the tag. It just start waking up as well. And I have a small one here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but yes, I planted a year after I planted the one that you just saw, and it's still small. I had to put this tag back here, but the smaller one is sunflower purple and burnt ridge. Burnt ridge is the nursery. I buy a lot of fruit trees from them, and I'll recommend them. I use one green world or something like that. They are green world. They are good too. And the bigger one, the bigger purple tree is mango purple, and they are 1 year apart, but it's quite different how tall one is. And you can see on the ground, that's parsnips, but you can see them on the ground. That's the light green, if I would say that, all over in the creeping Charlie. So that's how I turn my garden. I turn my lawn into garden, and I don't know the approximately how what proportion that I turn into garden, but I mean, you can see for yourself. Don't know if you'll be able to judge. That's the remaining yard. And the land is about 1,000 square footage. The house is about 1,000 square footage. And I have the garden all around it, leaving a small lawn park for the kids to play. And they go in the garden, they play around. And I had to put a cage fence around the garden because deer can be very annoying around here. So that's how I utilize my yard, and I planted at the front as well. So I just want to share my garden, my backyard garden with you. And here I'm not seeing the tag, but that's aronia berry, and it's fruiting. It does blow berries that is said to be richer in antioxidants more than blueberry. So I have them in the garden, and I have blueberries in the garden as well. I have the main blueberries, which are the wild blueberries. They are somewhere down here, and then I have some other blueberries. They have been damaged by bunnies, but they are surviving. So that's one blueberry there, and I have two at the front. I have two back here, so that's two here, and then I have two small one because the wild blueberries, I believe you need two to pollinate each other. So they are somewhere there, but they are crowded by the strawberries, but let's see if you get to zoom it in for you to see it. Cosa culuspare, and it's right there. That's the leaves. This one is maple tree. That's what I'll call weed because they are very annoying weeding them out. But the blueberry is the stem with 3 leaves right behind the strawberry flower. So that's the blueberry. I can see one there. I'm not seeing the second one from here, but yes. And they have been producing, not a lot, but they produce. So yeah, I just want to share the garden with you. And if you have a little yard, it'll be good to grow what you like to eat. There is so many things that I'm growing here that if I'm not growing it, chances are I will not be eating them because you won't even find them in the store. And I have grape here, and even though I have propagated my Concord grape, I don't think this is Concord grape. I think this is just wild grape that I started growing and I left it, and it just came back this year, and look at how full of grape it is. Even though I cut one vine off early this year, and I thought, okay, I cut that plant out of here. It's not going to be here to bother the things that are growing around. I must have left one branch because its fruit is full of grape. So yes, and we do have some fruit trees, many fruit trees, but I'm not going to go through all of that. There is one here that I put at the edge of the property, full of thorn, and that's rose hip. It's coming back from the ground, and that produces some rose that you will eat, is edible. It's so thorny that it's very good to fence your yard with it, but just don't be the one that will try to cross and make a mistake to go past it. It's very thorny, and that's rosa guta or something like that, the name. I don't remember. I'm not even seeing the tag here. But the rose, I believe, is high in vitamin C. So that's that. Thank you for watching. I'm Afiavi Ojune Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel and owners of Nina's Soap. And our website is ninasoap.com. In case you are wondering, that's a lot of onion here, and I have them all over, and I've been chopping and putting in the freezer for winter consumption already. And all those greens, mustard, garlic mustard, are going in the freezer as well, or I'll be chopping them to mulch. That's how I grow my own mulch as well. Thank you.